Let me straight away cut across to Sucharita, who's joining us from the newsroom to give us further details on the same. Sucharita, big diplomatic win for India of how the MEA had very closely been monitoring every development, providing every sort of consular and legal assistance, which they say they will continue to do. But certainly no death sentence for those 8 Navy veterans.
Suesha, a very big diplomatic win for us, a very big victory for the... As we are telling our viewers, the death sentence being reversed, you know that the entire country was watching this in anticipation. We knew that the 8 naval veterans that we've been talking about, their families were watching this. They had their eyes set on this verdict, and the death sentence being reversed is a huge victory for the country. We know that our ambassador in Qatar was present in that newsroom when this verdict was being given, and the death sentence being reversed is the first step in repatriating those naval veterans. I would again reiterate that this is a huge victory for the country, because we know that there were diplomatic efforts right from at the top that were involved in this, and we know that the country's topmost legal teams were involved in this. There was, as I'm telling you this, that the ambassador to Qatar was in that very courtroom when this judgment was being delivered. We know that the entire the diplomatic team has stood with those families who've been eagerly awaiting their family members to return home. I would again say that this is the first step in getting them back home in their repatriation. These naval veterans, their death sentence being reversed is a huge victory for the country. I would also like to say that this case has been highly sensitive, and the government has really prodded with caution in this case. We know that there are lives involved. We know that the family... And now, as I'm telling our viewers about this judgment being reversed, the death sentence being reversed, this is a huge victory for the country. We know that for days together, we at Republic have followed this story. We've also told each and every update to our viewers, because we know that those naval veterans and their families have been waiting for their repatriation, have been waiting to get them back home. I would again say this is the first step, and a very big step, because their death sentence being reversed, the families were promised that they are going to be getting them back home, and they will, in the course of time, there will be more diplomatic efforts involved in trying to reduce their sentence. And as we're telling our viewers, the death sentence being removed is a big victory for the country. The detailed judgment is awaited right now. As I'm telling our viewers, the legal team is in close touch with the family members, and they're also going to decide on the legal options that come next. Because this is just the first step. What are going to be the legal options that will come next? They will be contemplated upon. They will be discussed with families. They will be taken up at the national level, and then they will be treading this path with caution, because the priority is to get them back home. I would again say that this the verdict today at the Court of Appeal in Qatar in the Dahra Global case, sentences being reduced, big diplomatic win for India. And I would not just see it as a diplomatic victory. It is a victory for the people, because the government has stood by them, has already had promised the people, the family members, that the naval veterans are going to be coming back home. So what is important is what next after this death sentence being reversed. What are the next steps that will be taken? I would again reiterate that there will be legal options that will be contemplated upon with the family members and with the legal team. But we've been following this case very closely, and we're also playing this, if the viewers can see this, that for the next step, the next legal assistance, what will the next step be? The matter will be taken up in court. This matter will continue in court, because this is not the end of it. The death sentence being reversed is not the end of it. We have to get these naval veterans back home, and that is exactly what the government is working upon. A massive victory for India, I would again say. And now after this, the next course of action is what is going to be decided upon. A detailed judgment is awaited. On what grounds this death sentence has been reversed, the detailed judgment is going to point towards that. And based on that detailed judgment, now the legal authorities will be deciding on the next course of action. Now, this is a big win, as I'm saying, and they will continue to take this matter up with the Qatari authorities. They had already, right from the day when the news had come in and we had broken it on Republic, we knew that the Indian government was working through the back channels and is now, even now, trying through its diplomatic efforts to get these naval officers back. And this is a big step in that direction. We're also awaiting for that judgment, Suesha. When the detailed judgment is going to come, the legal team is going to be working on the next course of action. But definitely, the trip of the Prime Minister to Qatar, a lot of experts kept speaking about this, that there were back channel diplomacy at work even during that trip. And now that this death sentence has been reversed, this is a huge victory for the country. Suesha.